Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Robbos Gobcast Sports Show. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a lovely weekend. It's been a very busy weekend for sport. We had the FA Cup, we had wrestling, we've had NFL, a lot of NFL action. So a busy week on the podcast for everyone this week. We're changing up things and we're changing the way things we do. I want to try new things. I'm not going to rest on my laurels and keep to the same thing. So we're going to try things up and try different things. But that'll be more to coming on throughout the week where we announce certain things going on. So what we're going to be discussing today on the wrestling podcast is obviously we're going to review the predictions we did for the New Year's Evil, and go through some of the matches of what we thought, and then see what the score is so far. I've got all of it set out here so I can easily do it. Then we're going to go on to a little bit of discussions on talking about Raw and Smackdown as well. And then we will then finish off. So we've got a busy episode. Let's get straight into it. First match, excuse me. The first match we're going to discuss is Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly for the NXT Championship. What was your thoughts on that match?
What can I say? Yeah, I was happy with that match. I think they both delivered. I like that. Finn got his receipt, if that's what you call it, when he I don't want to say curb stomped him on the rope. He basically, used the rope when he had his jaw on the rope to break the count to fight. He kicked the rope, so I'm trying to say. So he did that. Yeah, I think that was a clever way of him getting payback for that. I think I'm definitely happy with that one. I think I don't know if can I say they topped it from their last one? Just about, yeah. I'd say they beat the first belt they had.
Yeah, I think it was a very good storytelling match. And I thought it was not only was it a good storytelling match, which WWE is quite good at, but I think it was also a very good hard-hitting match, which was the believability that Kyle O'Reilly could knock Finn Balor out, and Finn Balor could knock out Kyle O'Reilly no matter what was going on with the holds, with the moves and everything in it. I really do think that this was a really good match.
I think it's a perfect example of like Kyle was. It was literally. Sorry, should I say? I'm only going to say Kyle. I think it was both Kyle and Finn were basically literally I have a counter for his counter, and he's got a counter for my counter, kind of thing. So they definitely kind of matched in that kind of way. And it's kind of funny as well when you think about it. They're both literally relatively the same size as each other, similarly built, if you will. And I mean, their styles just about clash with one another. Just about. I'm not saying completely do. They're both Irish, which is quite the snap as well. Well, technically, Carl's Canadian Irish.
I tell you what, move of the night was when Kyle O'Reilly decided to kick Finn Balor and then somehow fall out of the ring.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was move of the night. But with that being said,
yeah, I was going to say, I think the next match should just be who can kick the shell of each other kind of match.
Just take it in turns to see who's going to pass out first.
Literally, it'll be it's like a chopping contest, So they can do that as well, but it'd be like just kick me on the chest and see who can take the most. I mean, that should be the next one.
So in that match, Finn Balor won. And I put Kyle O'Reilly to win. Gulam put Finn to win. So he went 1-0 up.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yep.
Just give me 1 second.
And we're back. So with that would mean that Gulam went 1-0 up. Let's go on to the next match, which the match I was looking forward to. Probably it's the joint with the Last Woman Standing match, as the most looking forward to. It was Priest versus Cross.
Yep.
This come into a big fight, Phil. Priest has a very good entrance. Yeah. Cross just takes it to another level. But this had very much... This was either going to make or break, in my opinion, Priest. This was either going to highlight Priest as in he can have a match with anybody because he's gone from Gargano and Leon Ruff to a beast in Cross.
100%. Yeah.
So it was going to be, is Priest going to be able to change his style of wrestling to who the opponent that he's going up against? And in my opinion, 100%
Can I answer that question?
No, I can answer that for you. 100% yes. I think Cross is a absolute beast, and I'm falling in love with Cross more and more every time I see him, with the work that he does on the mic.
I'm glad to say.
Yeah, with his in-ring ability, everything about Cross really makes me believe in him more and more. Damian Priest always had that thing for me where there was something missing. For me, personally, there was something missing for him. I couldn't put my finger on what was missing, but there was something missing that wasn't making me feel believing in him as much as what other people would. But in that match, there was. That made me believe that Priest deserves, or doesn't deserve, because it's not going up. You're going sideways now because NXT is its own brand and they're going to SmackDown or Raw. It's one of those things where he showed how much of a good wrestler he is. What was your opinion on the match?
Well, first of all, I'm going to say I feel so sorry for you that you never could see what I could see in this guy, because I've been seeing him for a long time. I remember the first time I saw him, I said numerous times when I first heard of him, I was like, he's the next guy I need to sign up, because he ticks all the boxes for what a star is. And, simply put it, I've seen him work with everyone from the little guys to the big guys, so I wasn't shocked about it. Simple as
it seemed at the ending. I want to talk about the ending a little bit, because it seemed that the move that Cross used against Keith Lee did not work on Priest. So Cross brought out a new, might have used it in Impact, might have used it in other places before, finisher that I hadn't seen before on him. That is fucking lethal.
Was it the submission or wasn't it?
Well, it was the forearm to the back of the head. It was the elbow to the back of the head. It was like the Will Ospreay / Judas move that Chris. Which is like the backflip, and then he just smashes them into the back of the head to knock them out and knock a win. And I was like, that's the perfect finish, because the normal finisher isn't working, and that shows Priest is a beast. So why not bring something out in your arsenal that you haven't used before?
Exactly, and it's the right way to send him off as well, not just send him off with a loss as well. So, it makes him. It shows that he didn't go down easily, and it elevates him more, and it also elevates, keeps him strong as well in the process. But to answer your question, what you said earlier, what I think of the match, I like the match. I had no problem, with it from the start. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I think they had that. They got it, timed right. I think between having matches with Dijak, Keith Lee, and Priest, I think those have probably been his best, Cross's best opponents.
Yeah.
Thus far. That's not taking away from Ciampa. I think Ciampa would have been a great opponent, but he was literally just there to be fed to him. So,
Yeah, it was very much to build Cross up, not to show what he got. It was to build him up.
And the thing is, and what I'm going to say, to tell you straight, I do not want to see Cross take any offense from any of the little guys, not even one, because I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. No, I'm going to tell you straight. It can't be a Gargano. It can't be Leon Ruff. It sure as
definitely won't be Leon Ruff,
because there needs to be some believability again. Simple as.
So we'll move on, as we both said, Cross. We both got that one right, and then we move on to a match that should have happened but never happened in the end. Tommaso Ciampa versus Timothy Thatcher in the Fight Pit match. We both went for Thatcher in this one, but we never went ahead due to certain circumstances, to an injury. I think they're trying to prolong this rivalry. I think it's good that they're trying to keep this going.
Well, I read a report which said it was a kayfabe injury. It's just a prologue. I don't know what it might be. It might be COVID related or one thing or another. But I think whichever way it is, it was the right way to do so because it keeps the storyline going. And I'm just hoping that overall it gives Thatcher a clean slate this year because his booking last year was
questionable.
It was very unbalanced last year, as I was telling you earlier, because I feel like any win he had last year just was forgotten,
So, and then in replacement of that, it was Kushida interrupting the Ways promo with Candice LeRae and Chauncey Blackheart interrupting, and Kushida and Chauncey getting the win.
I thought that was a bit random. I thought that was a bit random, I'm going to be honest with you.
I think they're building Kushida to beat Gargano for the title.
No, they better do something with him already. That's all I'm going to say. Because they keep doing something with him and then he doesn't do anything,
I think that there seems to be a different feel with Kushida this time around. Seems to be he's clicking with NXT, the way it's going, the way he want NXT being done.
I like him. I think he's basically what Kenta should have been. But the difference is Kenta was so injured so much, people forget he was even not meant to be there at one point.
I tell you what, it's good to see Chauncey as well because that also elevates her up the women's picture as well.
I think she's a hell of a talent as well, 100%. I think they're heading in the right direction with her.
That suicide dive through Kushida's legs, she connected with that sweetly.
I think she needs to be a bit careful with the move because I've seen her do some sloppy things in the ring, and she looks like she's injured herself a few times.
I've seen her in some of the stuff she did before NXT, and
I've seen clips, but my point is that it just I rest my case then because she basically just proves my point that she does do some pretty dangerous maneuvers, and this was the same case with various other guys is that they sustain various concussions before they even come in, and then they have to retire. As a result of it. So I'm just saying, I think she does need to be a little bit more careful, in all honesty.
We'll go from that to Chauncey
even is to begin with.
Yeah, to the last women standing match. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez.
Hell of a match.
This, for me, was match of the night. I know I tipped this as match of the night that I was predicting, and you get an extra point, blah, blah, blah. And I think Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly was a very good match as well. But for me, this was match of the night by storytelling, by the way that they all went together. Rhea Ripley wouldn't go down. Raquel Gonzalez wouldn't go down. So they needed help by Dakota Kai, who then got shoved into a cupboard. To me, that was that I pissed myself with laughter when I saw that. Dakota Kai gets shoved into a locker.
Did you see my tweet?
Yeah, I think someone help her out in case she needs a wee or something. I think I saw you say like that.
I said, actually, yeah. Just use the toilet. I thought it was a great match overall. I wasn't shocked at all to begin with. I think they, I will say they do seem to enjoy wrecking the entire anytime it's that falls count anywhere kind of thing. It's always got to be they have to wreck the entire building.
Yeah, but, and I think it was a perfect ending where Rhea Ripley physically couldn't get up from going through the entrance, and I think that was the perfect way because it's not one of those where it was a cheap ass win for Raquel where she might have tied her down like Batista. Was it John Cena did to Batista? Where they tied him to a rope and he couldn't stand up. I think that was one of the. Was that Randy Orton did that once? I can't remember who did that.
I was going to say, I remember when Batista did that to Taker in their Last Man Standing match. He speared him right through the what was it?
I can't remember.
Into the light, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It was Big Show choke slammed John Cena through the big light.
He did that, but I remember Batista also did the spear over Taker from as well. So that was another one.
I think excellent win by Raquel Gonzalez. We both predicted that. We've got one more match, and then we're both going to announce who we think was match of the night. Last match, Santo Escobar versus Gran Metalik. holy crap, that was a lot of a better match than I was expecting.
Yeah, that was random. It was very random. I wasn't surprised though. They delivered quite well as a result. Definitely went the extra mile on that one.
I thought Grand Metalik looked good. He looked like a superstar.
I never had a problem with him as a star. I mean, I just thought never was a fan of Lucha House Party to begin with. Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
So I really do think that it showed each person's why they're good at what they do.
I want to say, I can't get my words out right now.
But Grand Metalik is very much the king of the ropes, where everything he did on the ropes.
Oh yeah, I did say. I remember I tweeted that. Yeah, actually, I did say that he's really living up to his name right now.
Yeah, it looked like so smooth when he was flying around on the ropes. And Santos Escobar looks like one of those champions where he's got outside help, but at the same time, he looks like someone that can legitimately, within one move, win the match.
That didn't shock me one bit. You know, I think I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think Santos should be probably up there right now with the top tier guys right now. That's all I'm going to say. I think he is above NXT at this point. You know, I think he should be starting his own faction. Well, he's already got his own faction. I'm saying he should be building up an even bigger faction right now. For some more
I think they are, aren't they? Because they're classic. We're going to get into Dusty Road Classic when it starts in next week as well. We're going to go through the tag teams and go through that. So I feel like they are pushing him a little bit more. I think they're pushing him more for the inevitable Jordan Devlin versus Escobar match.
I think they might even go the extra mile and go the Andrade route and push him to the NXT title, and then give him that main roster debut at some point.
I still think they have to with him. There's still going to be that lingering thing where he is not the real cruiserweight champion until he beats Jordan Devlin. It doesn't matter if there was a tournament. I don't care if there was a tournament. I don't care if there was. Jordan Devlin has the title, and he's still defending
he's got the title anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. Even if they do,
there has to be one. You can't have two world champions. You can't have two intercontinental champions. It just makes no sense. You need one overall. And it has to come down to a match between Escobar and Devlin at some point. Before Escobar can go on to that next level, he has to go through that Devlin match just so that he can move on from it.
Okay. No, I mean, I don't have a problem myself. I'm just saying that.
Because there's always going to be that lingering thing over him where he's not the real cruiserweight champion until he beats the real cruiserweight champion.
I'm just going to say my guy Santos ain't got none of Bruce, so simple as.
He's still got stuff because he hasn't beaten or pinned the actual cruiserweight champion. So he still has got that. Right, so
he's only holding back the inevitable.
The inevitable when Devlin absolutely annihilates him, yes. So out of all of that night, I picked Last Woman Standing match as match of the night. You picked the NXT Championship as Finn Balor as match of the night. Would you stick with that, or would you say the Last Woman Standing match was the best?
I'll say the Last Woman Standing match.
Woo! Extra point for me, which means we're now 4-4. So that means now that the overall total is 4-4 going into, I think the next pay-per-view is Royal Rumble? I think.
Yep.
Which is coming up. So talking of Royal Rumble and talking of Raw and SmackDown, let's get into some news and what we think of certain things going on in the Royal Rumble. We had a Raw Legends night.
Yep. I didn't have a big problem with it. I got to see Tori Wilson. I was happy.
I found it more entertaining afterwards when Cardi B started tweeting about WWE and talking about it.
I found that entertaining as well.
I found that absolutely amazing. Okay, so my thoughts on Raw Legends night was way they did it was completely wrong. They did was they didn't. Right, I don't mind having legends coming back. That doesn't bother me, and I don't mind having that. I'm not one of these people that says everything has to be done for the future. and you can't look in the past. I'm not one of those people. I'm all right with having it back. But when you do the same shit when every legend comes back every single time, it gets a bit repetitive and it just doesn't look fun. Ric Flair, what's he do when he comes back? Trips up Charlotte, Charlotte loses like he does before. Hulk Hogan, who did, by the way, I think creative really need to think next time when they get someone to do a promo with Drew McIntyre. Who was Drew McIntyre up against Keith Lee? What was Hulk Hogan done for before? It doesn't really go down well when you have Hulk Hogan going, "What you gonna do, brother?" to Keith Lee when before it's like, brother, that doesn't look good.
What else he said?
So
listen, you shouldn't make a joke about this either. It is a serious matter.
It is a serious matter, and I'm not making it. And that's the one thing that I don't get is bringing it back. You have Mark Henry on a fucking scooter.
All right, I got a second. Calm down. Let me just say some things as well. I think the thing is as well, we have to understand is that with today's fan base as well, it's hard to move past any mistakes a lot of guys have made and this and that. In Hogan's case, he never really properly apologized for his mistakes. I've seen various guys reach out to him and say, I accept what you've done, but you need a bit more than that. Like Elijah Burke, for example, he's reached out to him. I don't know how accurate reports are, but I know that New Day have never been so happy with him.
I have a reminder for Mark.
Okay, my Google just went off. That made me shit myself. Okay, no worries.
Everything okay, though, right?
Oh yeah. It's just Google. Just give me a reminder. It's all good.
As I was saying, I think the problem with Hogan is that it's just okay. Put it this way: you can respect him for his blood, sweat, and tears he put in for the business 20 years ago. Yeah, no doubt there.
Yeah.
Without him, there would be no wrestling overall. Hogan in the past 10 years has let himself down. And I'm not talking Hogan, I'm talking Terry Bollea. He's let himself down. That's what it is. And it's a damn shame. But, it's hard. At the same time, I think it's the marks as well aren't exactly making it easy for him. But he himself isn't doing any favors. Does that make sense? So it's literally like, it's like they can't meet.
They're butting heads all the time. Exactly. They're not helping each other.
Basically, they just keep he'll go this way, they'll go this way. It just they can't meet on anything. So it's hard for any of them to. I can turn around and I say, but Ric Flair is. There's been guys that said that Ric Flair was racist to them back in the day. Where's the heat on him? Where's the heat on the Four Horsemen for being racist? Where's the heat on Roddy Piper for saying some racist stuff? I could say bringing so many guys into that. No one says anything about that.
Never disrespect Roddy Piper. He's a legend.
I'm not disrespecting him, but I'm saying he did. There are guys that say...
and these are all allegations and what we've said and all of that done before.
But then again, it goes to this argument that there's always been racism within the industry. It's just never been as big a deal until recent years.
Mm-hmm. So then there's another talking point.
That should never be an excuse. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, which I really don't want to discuss. And I never thought I would have to discuss. Goldberg versus...
I love Bill.
Oh, I fucking hate Bill. I can't... Do you know what? I respect him in WCW. And I respect him at what he's done before. But does he not realise that ever since the Undertaker match where he nearly killed the Undertaker, that he needs to just stop and fuck off? Like, just get your Hall of Fame ring and just every so often turn up, go, hi, who's next, spear someone, fuck off, and do it for the old time's sake.
I think the thing with Bill is he understands that he doesn't want to see himself as just that old relic kind of thing, even though he's kind of...
But he is!
Anyway. But my point is that he doesn't look like one compared to most of the other guys.
I don't care if he looks like he can't wrestle. He can't wrestle. Matt Riddle is spot on with him. He cannot wrestle. He's never been able to wrestle. All he's been able to do for 40, 30 years, however long it is, walk into a ring, blow smoke out of his nose, walk down the ring, spear, jackhammer, pin.
I think you're just generalizing it. You're generalizing what everyone else has said. You check out some of his matches.
I've checked out matches and I've seen his match, and he can't wrestle.
More than that, he could backflip and everything. He cannot
wrestle. He is not a good. He is a former NFL player turned wrestler that was extremely hot during WCW, and he is.
Look up his moves.
I finished talking yet. He is
Okay.
someone who is still living off the WCW era and still trying to relive it now. And does he? And do you know what pisses me off as well, even more, was Keith Lee put in one of the best matches I've seen him put in, and that demoralized it by Goldberg coming out. That took away everything because everyone just forgot about Keith Lee and thought about this old twat coming down to the ring and going, "You're next," coming down with his stupid goatee, and saying, "You're next," and coming out and doing it. It's just utterly ridiculous.
You think Goldberg pissing your cereal or something?
It has, because there is no need for him to turn up at Royal Rumble. He can't wrestle. Drew McIntyre, if this was legitimately a legitimate match, Drew McIntyre should win this within minutes. And this should nowhere near be Goldberg doing a couple of spears, looking like he's going to beat Drew and then trying to do it. Drew McIntyre destroyed Brock Lesnar and did it convincingly, and to a point where he looked like a beast. He's now got this 45, 50-year-old man coming back that has no right to come back whatsoever and challenge someone. He hasn't fucking done anything to challenge for the title. What's he fucking done? Walk out to a ring, push a bloke to a floor, going, "You're next."
Well, I'm not saying I wanted this match even myself. That said, the way I'm looking at it, the opportunity is there for Drew to keep building up his name, and if he's beating Goldberg at the same time, go for it. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
I think if this was Goldberg of about 5-6 years ago, this was the Goldberg of when WCW closed down, and he eventually turned up at WWE and beat The Rock, I think it was. When he eventually turned up, if that was the Goldberg now, then yeah, 100%. Bring Goldberg in, bring him to try and defeat Drew McIntyre. There is no, right, and we're talking about NXT being legitimate in wins and losses, right? There's no legitimate reason why Goldberg, one, deserves a title shot at all. He's done fuck all. He lost to Braun Strowman. That says it all.
Yeah.
And secondly, he hasn't done anything to have that. And for him to come out and do it, we've got wrestlers who deserve much better than what he's got.
I agree with that as well. I've said it as well. There are guys who should be in that position more than him. But the way I'm seeing it is if that's the way they want to go with it, more power to them. Just do it and get it over and done with once and for all.
It's a bit. So we're going to go on from Goldberg before I carry on ranting, because I'll know I'll go on a lot longer than probably what.
Yeah, I can see that.
Is humanly possible for someone to go on about Goldberg. I'm going to go on about Roman Reigns and Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce won the gauntlet match to have a match against Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble. Adam Pearce, who is a former 5-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He's legitimately a very, very, very good wrestler. He was a very, very good wrestler.
I suggest anyone who hasn't seen his matches, go and check on his YouTube page and see what he can do.
He will not be facing Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble.
I reckon it's either going to be two things. It's either going to be a swerve, so they will have the match and he'll get to show what he can do, or two, let me repeat that again. Sorry, it's either going to be a swerve and he's going to send someone out for him, or two, they'll give him his chance to show what he can do. Because I think it's actually. I think I've seen
multiple. Yeah, I think I've seen multiple reports saying Adam Pearce winning this is literally a kayfabe reason for Kevin Owens not to take part because of the injuries he's withstand from Roman Reigns, for Adam Pearce to give it to Kevin Owens. To carry on. But I want to talk, so before we get on to more about Adam Pearce, I want to talk about the gauntlet match just a little bit. There's one person I really want to discuss who now looks like the old person we remember, Shinsuke Nakamura.
King of Strong Style.
Now is a legitimate fighter again. Someone that looks like a legitimate wrestler again. That could be someone that can go up against Roman, or me just thinking for the past couple of minutes, could build up Big E to be a bigger beast than what Big E already is.
You see, the thing is, I don't know if I want to see Shin put over Big E though at this point. So I think Shin will be the perfect guy to go over to, face Roman. That's the thing now. Put me at that position.
I think there's a difference, right? So I'm in two minds. If we look at like Nakamura and Cesaro, the same type of thing. They're excellent wrestlers, excellent technique, just not very great on the mic. The difference between Nakamura and Cesaro is Nakamura can legitimately and is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Cesaro is a very good power wrestler, but is not all-round wrestler like Nakamura is for me. So for me, if there's anyone that can dig themselves out of that hole of mediocrity and not doing that very well to become a world champion again, is Nakamura.
Okay. No, that's a fair argument. I don't know if I agree with the Cesaro part when you said that you don't think he's the same wrestler as him. I mean, I think Cesaro's one of the best technical guys gifted in this day and age.
I think he's all right.
I think he's highly underrated. If there was ever a definition of underrated, there was ever a picture that comes under underrated, he'd be the
But where does it get to a point where does it become a point
and underutilized as well?
Okay, so where does it become a point where it's not underutilized or not underrated, but he's just not that good? Where does it get to that point? Because he's never proved it in WWE.
Zack Ryder.
Hmm?
He was. I mean, Zack Ryder, in my opinion, he used the best they could. He was never world championship material, was he?
No, Zack Ryder was never good enough.
But I've seen people online saying, "Oh, he was he had more TV time." I'm like, he was barely mid-card. He was mid-carder at best,
It's a bit like the Perfect 10, Sean Pierce, or whatever you want to call it. Everyone thought he should have got better. Look what he's done at AEW. He's not even doing anything.
Yeah, I'm surprised they did that with him, but I guess it just goes to show he was never that good to begin with. But he's still a great wrestler.
This is my point. This is my point I'm trying to make. Is where does it get to a point where people keep going, Cesaro's underutilized, under this, under that, he's not being used good enough, he's this and that. Where does it get to a point where it's not that and he's just legitimately not good enough? Because if he was that good and if he was that used, then when he would have got the spots, he should have taken it. Why hasn't it not been done?
Like I said, my opinion would be Zack Ryder. He never was that good to begin with,
No, it's one of those situations that we'll never know. But Raw and SmackDown look like they're building up. They're slowly building up. It's been an interesting week with the legends. Drew McIntyre, apparently, when you've watched this, would have already addressed the Drew McIntyre, the Goldberg situation.
What was I going to say? I was going to say Shinsuke to me, I think, so what I wanted to say was that I remember I was speaking not too long ago as well that he'd be the perfect guy to take on Roman as well, because the story's pretty much written for him, because he eliminated Roman at the 2018 Royal Rumble to win the Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much already set for him to face him. They've wrestled a few times, but this one would be more meaningful.
Yeah.
Would actually have a big.
And I agree with you on that.
And I actually think he's the perfect guy to take the title off him as well. The frustrating thing is there's so many guys who are perfect for that right now. We got Brian, you got Kevin, you got Big E, you got Shin.
SmackDown is stacked at the moment with talent, and that's the good thing.
Now, one thing I want to bring up now, because seeing as we're talking about the situation, is because dirt sheets. I don't usually even pay attention to dirt sheets. I just, But this report really did my head in because I keep seeing it everywhere now, and it's because marks are tweeting about it or messaging or using it as their opportunity to throw shade at the guy. And it's because of stupid Meltzer and his stupid reporting where he said that specifically he mentioned Roman and KO, and he said that KO basically the original story was to get Priest onto SmackDown as KO's best friend to help with the Roman situation. KO shot it down because it doesn't make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
He talked over Roman, and they just didn't go with it. Simple as. And now another report saying, oh, it's because Roman said that he doesn't want to just bring in some random people into it as well. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But look at that. Look at reports are headlining. Roman blackballed a guy. Roman held back a NXT call up. There was no blackballing. There was no backstage politics. It was simply making sure that they didn't bring in a fresh new face as just another guy there. And that also, they're not putting him in a title picture before he's not fucking ready. Because why would you bring in someone new to have them lose on their first night?
Mm-hmm.
Did that work for Adrian Neville when he came in on the main roster many years ago, when he took on Seth Rollins and he lost after just being there for 1 match, 2 matches? That broke so much momentum for him. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they did that with Shinsuke when they put him in the title picture before he was even ready against Jinder. No offense to Jinder, but it wasn't the right time for Shin to take the title of anyone at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And that took his momentum away. So can somebody explain to me why them holding back a debut like that was such a bad idea? Because I struggle to understand the mindset of these fans today.
Because it's the same people that would say that John Cena held people back. It's the same mindset. They will always find someone to moan and complain about. It's just one of those things. It's just going to happen.
There was this one Twitter page I remember I saw who's just anti-Roman and everything, and I'm just like, okay, you hate the character very enough. And I keep seeing him pop up on pages, dropping the same comment. Oh, we're getting this because he didn't want to fake Damien. Oh my god! And the fact that people even liking his tweet makes me annoyed as well.
But before we get you on, your that rant there was like my rant about Goldberg. Just saying. That was the same level as Goldberg rant.
Ranting. Might as well rant as well for one thing.
Exactly. Better out than in, I always say. But that's it. We're going to see another week of wrestling where we will find out more.
Hey.
Oh.
We forgot to mention.
What have I done?
Billie Kay's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Your new love affair for Billie Kay.
I never had a new one. I've always liked her.
Yeah, she is. She is excellent.
I think she'll be a star as well, the way she's going. So, probably they don't miss it with her. But also, on another serious note as well, with all that's been happening in the world right now, with what happened last week, I think we should also mention our thoughts with everyone right now, with all the situation over in the US. What happened that, at Capitol was completely unacceptable, by all accounts, what we all know who started it, he can't defend himself on that one. And anyone who's supporting it, I don't care if you're a follower of him, it's wrong. Don't justify it. Simple as. There's no right there. This is not all we need right now. That's all I'm going to say.
No, then that's very, very, very rightly said. We don't want to. We're not a political
Far from it.
We're not going to spread what we think you guys should do and where we think you should. You vote for who you want.
I say what I say. I say all the time. You can support who you want to support. I have no problem with it. If you feel that a certain party, feels the same way, a certain party political views, matches of what you prefer, more power to you. Go for it. I can't convince you to follow what I believe in. Same thing with religion, etc. But that said, please do not try and justify somebody's wrongs and make it sound like it's acceptable. Simple as it's not. There's no right when you're being wrong. And I remember hearing a great quote from Sean Connery in The Rock, where he goes, what was it he says? He goes, oh man, I've got the line in my head right now. I'm just trying to get it out. He goes, give me one sec.
We'll get there. But while he goes and looks at that and thinks about that, what I just want to say is what we want you guys to do is make sure you guys are safe, happy, and healthy. In the UK at the moment, we are down with our third full lockdown now. We want to make sure that everyone's mental health is okay.
I have it now.
So don't forget, you can DM us on the podcast, on the Robbos Gobcast wrestling page. where we're specifically just for wrestling, where you guys can come and talk to us, talk all things wrestling, go interact with us. DM us if you just want to have a private chat. Our DMs will always be open as well. We also have a Robbos Gobcast F1 page, NFL page as well, and a sports page where that's just an overall view of everything that's going on, and we just put our thoughts and fares on that as well. So go on, speak the quote.
The line is, patriotism is a virtue of the vicious, which basically means that whenever you do something for your country, you'll always do it without even thinking about the consequences of it and how wrong it is. So that could very well apply to that situation where people are doing what they think is right, even though it is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. But we're going to leave it there. We will see you guys next week, where we will carry on with any of the news or topics we've got. Don't forget to go follow us as well. Don't forget to go subscribe to us and click on that bell to get into notification for when we're live. And we will see you guys next week. All love and care. Bye.
Cheers.
Also, God bless Sachs. Bye.